The Kambula males had an eventful month, which left one of them bruised and sore. On their journey into Mhangeeni, they met a bunch of dominant males, amongst them the lone Kruger male and the two Mantemali sons. But the most significant encounter is the fight with Red Road, to which I'll come to in a second. While the Kambula males ventured to the north, their sister K12 hung back and befriended the lone Talamati lioness Tyelele. However, she reunited with her brothers after they had returned to Gijima. The initial aggression eventually calmed down when her brother rushed in to save the day. All was back to normal when they were found together on a buffalo kill in Buffelshoek. Happy and content with their full bellies, they went for a drink on a nearby pan. But the quiet morning was about to come to an end when Red Road and the Nahru pride chose the same pan to quench their thirst. Red Road is well known in Mhangeeni and he doesn't shy away from any fight. Within seconds, chaos erupted and Red Road managed to pin K5 to the ground. K4 then wanted to rush in to help his brother, who he thought was the one on top. This mistake ironically was saved by Nahru lioness, who intervened. She prevented K4 from hurting his brother even more. In all the confusion, K5 managed to break free and the fight was over. Only 3 months after the confrontation with the Plainscamp males, K5 again was the one left with the bruises. He spent about 10 days licking his wounds before he reunited with his brothers early August. Another dominant male the Kambulas came across is the lone Kruger male, who controls a portion of the Mbali pride. When the Kambulas returned to Gijima from their trip into Mhangeeni, they encountered the Kruger male and some of the Mbalis, which ended up in a chase. And not long after, some of the Kambulas were seen mating with Mbali lionesses. On July 23rd, there was a report that 3 mating pairs had been observed. By the end of July, the Kambula males stumbled upon an elephant carcass, but it wasn't their sister who was feeding with them. It was Tyelele, the lone Talamati lioness. And even more than that, Tyelele wanted to mate, which points to the sad truth that the young Talamati male might be gone. The last time he was seen with Tyelele was early July on Elephant Plains, and since then his tracks got lost. We don't know what happened to him, but it marks the end of our hopes that some of the subadults would make it to adulthood. While her brothers were busy with the Mbali lionesses, their sister K12 moved south and linked up with the young Styx male. We'll see what her plans are and if she continues to do her own thing. Mohawk made the north of Sabi Sand his primary residence again. Even though some of the Nkuhumas had moved on with the Plainscamp males, this didn't deter him. And surprisingly, he wasn't the only one who reunited with the Nkuhumas. The lone Blackdam male also was seeking the company of the pride. He wasn't a nobody to them, since the Blackdam males had spent a lot of time with the Nkuhumas in the past, and at one point they were even considered to be their new pride males. Mohawk didn't fight his former rival and just went along. At the end of July, they were all seen together sharing a giraffe kill. Especially between the males, the level of aggression was almost non-existent. They kept feeding on their respective sides, minding their own business. However, after the feast was done, the Blackdam male parted ways. The other portion of the Nkuhuma pride, which usually consisted of 3 lionesses, was guarded by the Plainscamp males. At one point they even chased the youngsters, but luckily no harm was done. When they eventually returned to the west, the Nkuhumas reunited. It was nice to see them all back together again, and with the prospect of some lionesses being pregnant, we'll see how the pride will handle it in the future. Throughout July, the Plainscamp males were seen all over the place. Early in the month, they invaded Ndzengha territory, which almost brought them face to face with their opponents. The encounter eventually ended after a chase with the retreat of the Plainscamp males. The message of the Ndzengha was clear: don't come back. However, their encounters into Ndzengha territory continued, and on one occasion they went deep into Londolozi, where they stumbled upon a hippo carcass. While they were feeding on the hippo, they somehow got wind of the Ntsevu pride, who was resting only 2 kilometers away. They started to move in their direction, but fortunately lost interest and returned to the carcass. The Plainscamp males seem to test the waters in any direction, and we can only hope that this won't cost them dearly in the future. Without them, their prides and cubs are vulnerable, but for now they seem to fulfill their responsibilities, at least for one of their prides in the west. The Ximunghwes still have their attention, and lately the older Ximunghwe lioness was seen calling out for the males. This might be a sign that she went back into estrus. After she helped nursing the cubs for over a year, it's about time for her to have another litter. These cubs are doing so well that they look at least half a year older than they really are. This also would contribute to keep the Plainscamp males invested, so let's hope we'll see some mating activities soon. Their oldest offspring keeps thriving in their father's territory. The youngsters are a little over 2.5 years old, and on this occasion they had a little bit of trouble with a clan of hyenas, which ended up with the young lioness being treed. In contrast to the Ximunghwes, we haven't seen the Plainscamp males in company of the Mhangeni pride in months. This opened the door for the Tumbela male to inch closer to the pride. After some lean times earlier this year, their hunting streak continued, and it was nice to see that even cub number 10 got his fill. Hunting buffalo is a dangerous business, and this cub got really lucky that it escaped the horns. But they also had easy meals when they stole a kudu kill from the Tsalala lioness. The prospect of free meals lured the Tumbela male closer and closer, and in the latter part of July we saw them together on a zebra kill. But Tumbela was not the only male fighting for a place at the dinner table. The lone southern Avoca male, who just had recently moved to the west, must have heard the commotion and helped himself to some zebra. The cubs were not too shy to fight for their place on the carcass, and when they got bullied, they slapped him back right in the face. And compared to him, Tumbela showed excellent table manners. The zebra was quickly finished, and after the meal, the southern Avoca male moved on. With a big fat belly, he looked in excellent condition. A few days later, still in the west, he was seen on an impala and on a water kill. Tumbela, on the other hand, showing perfect behavior on the dinner table, must have earned him some kind of trust, because he was allowed to sleep very close to the pride. After trailing and robbing them of food for almost a month, the lionesses seem to have accepted his presence, even to a point when he was allowed to feed alongside the cubs when the adults were resting. This behavior reminds me a little bit of Hairy Belly and Ginger, who had a similar strategy when they took over the Othawa pride. He even tried to defend their kill when an angry buffalo bull wanted to take revenge for his fallen comrade. Whatever he did, it worked, and by the end of July he got really close to the pride. Everything went smoothly considering the circumstances, when he somehow managed to make the pride feel safe around him. By the end of July they moved east into Londolozi, which might have been triggered by Tumbela's ex-partner, the Nkuhuma male, who had been spotted with his new partner in the west. We don't know exactly what happened, but the most likely scenario is that the Kambulas and the Mhangeni pride ran into each other. Chances are high that the Ndzengha also were involved. The sad result of this confrontation was that 2 Mhangeni cubs got killed, an 18-month-old male and female. The girl had been identified as the daughter of Big Boy's sister, but it's not clear yet which one of the older boys is gone. Clashes between prides don't happen often, but if they do, the youngest get caught in the crossfire. After this tragic event, they were temporarily split up, but a few days later they were reunited back in the west. There was some speculation that the Nkuhuma and Talamati male could have something to do with it, because they were seen in the west before the incident happened. But this option was quickly laid to rest. They were rather following the buffalo herds, securing their next meal. They were even seen together in the north, which is territory the Nkuhuma male had avoided for the last couple of years. The males had developed a nice bond, but that's not a reason to get excited. Since his coalition partner died, who was also his father, he had spent time with 4 males, but none of these pairings lasted for longer than 3 months. Meaning they still have a long way to go, but nevertheless we wish them luck on their journey. The Kambulas were most likely the ones involved in the Mhangeni disaster. They were also seen way further south out of their territory. Their movement might have been triggered by the aforementioned invasion of the Plainscamp males into Londolozi. The good news are, in the aftermath of the clash, all the 13 youngsters were accounted for. Their relatives of the Ntsevu pride have 4 very young cubs, and they are not as mobile. On their latest kills, not only the older cubs came rushing in to feast, but also the younger ones were in attendance. Despite being introduced to meat, mum's milk is still their main diet, which is crucial for their survival and development. With that being said, troubling pictures emerged over the last weekend. The mother was seen with a large gaping wound, which she most likely suffered in a hunt. It looks clean, but it must be very painful. While she has a decent chance to recover, provided her wound doesn't get infected, her cubs might be in jeopardy. I didn't come across a report of her being together with her cubs in the last couple of days. So let's hope she's going to be strong enough to suckle them. The Tsalala lioness, who has developed a leopard style of life, has done a great job in protecting her cubs. They are 3 months old now and were seen more and more with their mother. Mid-July she made a large kudu kill, which she was able to feed on for over a day. Then the Mhangenis robbed her of the prize, but luckily her cubs were safely tucked away. She's a superb huntress and she doesn't need big kills to provide for her family. It probably won't take long until we see her together with her cubs sharing a meal. The cubs slowly start to get mobile, and when she rests for the day, she wisely chooses a safe place like the top of some boulders where she can easily spot any danger. As a first-time mother, she's doing great, and we wish her all the best to succeed. The Othawa lionesses are keeping a low profile as well. Mid-July they had an encounter with the Plainscamp males when one of the girls got cornered and slapped them bravely in the face. The males obviously showed interest in them, because otherwise this could have ended badly. The real danger are other lion prides, like the Mhangenis and the Ximunghwes, who just chased the Othawas in a recent encounter. Other than that, their month was quiet. Not counting in hyenas who want to steal their food, or hunting adventures when the prey fights back. Early July, the Styx lioness revealed her 3 young cubs. While she's been caring for them at the den site, the sub-adults are all over the place. The young Styx male spent some time with 2 of his sisters, while another was seen mating with the Gijimas. Later in the month, the old lioness left the den to join up with the sub-adults. At the end of the month they were seen again, but this time in the company of the young Styx male. Early August he was seen with the Kambula lioness K12, who may have decided to move on from her brothers. The young male obviously appreciates her company, and both were seen together following the buffalo. As mentioned in the last update, the 4th Msuthlu lioness has also given birth. And by the end of July it's been revealed that she has a litter of 4. The cubs are about a month old and they are still tucked away in the den. In a couple of weeks though, they're gonna meet their cousins, who are a couple of months older than them. By the end of June, the 2 Gijima invaded Nkhulu territory and attacked one of the brothers. After some back and forth, the tables eventually turned and they got chased back. They spent the remainder of the month mating with the young Styx lionesses and taking care of their prides. This was not their first encounter, there were several over the last couple of months. Not that long ago, the Nkhulus fought back and invaded Gijima territory. But one of the Gijima brothers chased them back where they came from. The Gijimas don't show any fear of the bigger coalition, which might have to do with some of the Nkhulu not being in tip-top shape. The coalition is split, with one of them preferring to stay in Kruger, and Nkhulu male number 4 has been missing for a while. Out of the 4 that have established their territory in the southern parts of Sabi Sand, Only 2 are in tip-top shape. The other 2 are carrying a limp and as a consequence suffered a loss of muscle mass. In addition to that, one of them got bullied by his stronger brothers. They continued mating throughout July, and it's not clear what happened to the cubs we have seen in May. I want to end this update with the young Nkuhuma males who have made progress in taking over a territory. The lionesses they are mating with are allegedly from the Mantamali pride. Even though Purple Eyes Sun seem to venture off from time to time, we wish them to succeed in their quest.